Welcome back to another video. So it is Tuesday evening, it's like 7:15. I am exhausted today. So it's exactly 1 week into my cut. And I have to say, this is the first day that I have felt genuinely like ravenous and hungry. But that is because I'm tired. I did not sleep very well last night. I don't think it's anything to do with the actual food that I'm on. I think it's just my hormones and things kind of coming into play as a result of lack of sleep. So I'm not too stressed about it. I just need to make sure I get a better quality night of sleep or better sleep quality tonight. But yeah, I went to bed quite early last night, to be fair, but my sleep was just incredibly broken. And I just woke up feeling like I just hadn't rested at all. So I just need to make sure that tonight is better. And then my appetite tomorrow should hopefully be a bit more manageable. But I'm kind of just ignoring, just going to continue on. It's fine now. I'm training as well. Like that'll be a good distraction for me. I'm glad it's just bench today because I think SBD with feeling as hungry as I am would not be fun. But I do have SBD tomorrow, so I am hopeful that I'll feel okay. I will say though, I'm not willing to sacrifice my training. So worst case, I will just have a few extra carbs pre-training. But I shouldn't need to. Like I should be fine. But yeah, we'll just sort of play it. See how we feel tomorrow. I am also expecting quite a big drop anyway, just because I haven't dropped for a few days now. I've been sitting at 88 on the dot for a few days. I did see a little bit of a flicker down to 87.9 this morning, but I haven't officially broken into the 87s yet because that did just flicker. So I do think the hunger is a result of lack of sleep / my body getting ready for another decent drop, I would imagine. So we'll just see what happens. Steps, I'm already over 10,000 steps today and I still got to go to the gym as well. Not going to probably do any cardio today just because of my energy levels, and technically Hannah did say I only need to do cardio if I don't hit my 12k steps a day. I will add some on tomorrow anyway, just because tomorrow's accessories are super short. So it's nice to just go and do some cardio just to kind of bulk up the session a little bit when I get to the commercial gym. But yeah, today's session is secondary bench. It is week 3. It is day 1. It is 3 count bench triple at an RP of 7, I believe, followed by a single 5 kilos heavier, also 3 count. And then I've got a last set of 6, I think about an RP 6 or 7. I'm just going to go up 2.5 on what I did last week, so 87.5, because I'm not going to push that too crazy this block. And then I've also got, I think, 3x6 at a set load. I can't remember what the set load is. It'll be roughly 80-ish, I think, maybe a little bit lighter, just 3 lighter sets of 6 basically last, and I need to have a proper look. But I'm feeling pretty good overall, other than just energy being down. I am feeling decent. Had a really productive work day, and I don't usually talk too much about my coaching specifically in these videos. I've also got a question that was left on a previous video that I want to answer in this clip as well, so we're going to be talking for a bit. But I spent today upgrading my website. So my coaching I've been coaching for so many years now, but basically my website I haven't been really happy with for a while, and I've kind of been wanting to kind of lean into the podcast branding. So my podcast is The Art of Lifting. It is a mostly powerlifting based podcast, although I kept the name lifting rather than powerlifting because I wanted to leave the gate open for other sides of lifting. Like I've had a bodybuilder on there before, someone that transitioned from powerlifting to bodybuilding. I want to talk about like general lifting and stuff on there too. It's not just about powerlifting and specifically, even though it mostly is, just because that's the area of lifting I'm very invested in. But I want to just kind of keep those doors open to be able to take it into other areas. And with that, I've been wanting to rebrand my coaching to The Art of Lifting as like the company name for a while. So I'm now in the process of doing that. And one big part of doing that was updating all of my clients' sheets anyway. So I spent all of Christmas, like my 2 weeks off over Christmas, or a week and a half off over Christmas, and of going through and making the updates to the sheets that I've been wanting to do for a while. Just spend some time kind of getting those how I want them to be. And now I'm in the process of moving everyone over as their blocks finish. And with that, it has like the Art of Lifting branding on, and I'm kind of leaning my coaching services into that a little bit more, which is really cool and really exciting. And I've been wanting to do it for ages. It's just something that I kind of put off, and I was like, right, you have time off over Christmas. Although most of my Christmas was spent doing nothing, I did have my laptop with me. I'd sit on the sofa, I'd make notes of what I wanted to do and that sort of thing. And then as soon as I was kind of like back to work, I made all those necessary changes. So big upgrades kind of there. In terms of the actual service itself, obviously my coaching hasn't massively changed, because if there's anything that I think I can do better, I will implement it immediately. But nutrition and powerlifting coaching are both going really, really well. Obviously, I'm still trying to expand that and, grow that this year, and that is a big goal for this year. But I have also, which I'm really excited about, if you go on my website, which is artoflifting.co.uk, I have also now added, my prices were already on there, but we now offer student discount, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I think it just felt right to just do it all in one go when I was upgrading the website anyway. So this morning when I was upgrading the website, I did also put in the student prices as well. So if anyone is interested in coaching and you are a student, doesn't matter where you're from around the world, you can go on my website, you can see the prices. So I will just say them on here anyway, because I'm also not gatekeeping prices. So powerlifting coaching with me is £100 per month, that's Great British pounds. And then student discount is £85 per month. And then nutrition coaching is £75 per month. And then student discount is £65 per month. So a little bit of a discount for students there. I think the economy right now is just genuinely awful. And grassroots are obviously really important, and younger lifters kind of getting with a coach that is going to look after them in the long run, focus on longevity, which is something I'm very big on, and helping them kind of grow into the athletes they want to be. It's a really important thing to offer like support to those people, especially with the current climate. So I was like, no, you need to offer a student discount. I did consider doing a junior discount rather than just students, but I think for now I'm quite happy offering student and kind of going from there. So I'm very excited to be offering that as well. So yeah, updates to my website. If anyone wants to go check them out, there's also a detail of my service and stuff on there as well, and kind of what my coaching entails. And if anyone has any specific questions or anything, you can DM me on Instagram, or you can send me an email, which my email address is also on the coaching website. There's a link to it on there, or you can just copy it, whatever. And then there's also an inquiry form. And generally when people fill the inquiry form in, I will message them and I will offer a phone call consultation if they're not comfortable speaking on the phone, because I know a lot of people do not like talking on the phone. I used to be one of these people. I do also say to people, if you don't want a phone call, I'm happy to just message backwards and forwards, and you can ask me loads of questions. I can ask you questions back and stuff like that. So I like to keep things as open as possible for people so that reaching out doesn't feel overwhelming, and hopefully people find me approachable. I think they do. Now, I had a question. I'm going to grab my phone and I will talk you guys through a question that I got asked that I was going to reply to in the comments, because generally I like to reply in the comments as fast as possible, especially because I upload these videos like a week behind when they're filmed. But I started typing a reply and then I was like, this is going to be so much easier to talk through in a video because it might be quite a long-winded answer. So, okay, so the question asked was, do you feel like you struggle with maintaining body weight? I love sweet food and I'm not that clued up in nutrition, but it is definitely my choice to eat less healthy. I feel like I see so many enviable bodies within the powerlifting community, and that it can be hard to reckon with when I want to look like them, but I don't feel like I do. Is this a sign to get a nutrition coach? Since I'm vegan as well, I don't know if it's more prudent to seek out a nutrition coach with a vegan specialist knowledge. What do I think? So I wanted to read out the whole thing because there is quite a lot of context there, and I'm kind of going to break it down. So first part, like personal element in terms of, do I struggle with maintaining my weight? Absolutely. And for me personally, that does come from a history of quite disordered eating habits. When I grew up, it was very like competitive, who can eat the most type of family. And anytime we had a meal that was like a takeaway or a meal out, or like just my mum would make like a roast dinner or something, it would always be who can eat the most. And obviously that seems like kind of harmless fun as a kid, but that's really impacted me as an adult, because when I now allow myself to eat these foods, I do feel like I can't stop a lot of the time. And so if I'm not, I've spoken about this before, and I know this is not the healthiest way to be, and it's something I'm trying to grow out of. And I have got better over the years, but I do slip into these habits. So for full transparency, when I spoke about in a previous video, I spoke about my diet over Christmas and how throughout the whole of December, essentially, I slipped into very disordered eating. This is kind of the route I'm talking about, in that because I didn't have anything specifically coming up, even though I try and eat as much like an athlete and focus on fuel as much as possible throughout the whole year, I almost felt like, right, your biggest comp of the year is done. You can have a bit of a break from tracking. You're going to start your cut, like, although I wanted to slightly start to cut before Christmas, which is hilarious because it did not happen at all. I knew my cut wasn't going to like formally start until January. I kind of went off the rails in December, and this person has mentioned that, you know, their choice is to kind of eat less healthy. And I think that's in terms of like food preferences and my taste palette. I much prefer unhealthy foods. And even if it's not that, I much prefer convenience. When I got into the gym, like I'm going to kind of go on a proper tangent here. This is going to be a really long segment, but I think it could be helpful to hear, just because I want to be completely honest with my relationship with food and what I struggle with, or what I have struggled with. So when I joined the gym, I was 16 years old. And the reason I joined the gym was because I wanted to shrink myself as much as I possibly could. I did then find a love for lifting, and the idea of shrinking myself started to leave, and it more became about trying to just get strong and muscular. And I always wanted to be lean and muscly, and my frame is just not a lean frame. Like, even when I was at my smallest after I started lifting, I wasn't lean. Like, I'm not someone that, like, I carry body fat. Like, it's just my body and my body type kind of thing. And where I carry my fat is like around my stomach and my upper back and stuff, where it's really hard to lose anyway. I got into the gym during a time when it was like very big on cheat days and all the I sometimes watch these videos back, like the lifting YouTubers from back in the day, like the Nikki Blackketters, the Buff Bunny, the Christian Guzman, people like that. I learned pretty much all that I know from watching these people. And back then especially, not so much now, I think now these people's content is fantastic. But back then it was very disordered, disguised as healthy, and it was a big trend back then. And it's not obviously these specific people, it's the whole fitness industry back then, like the people I follow on Instagram whose names I can't remember and stuff as well. And it was a very big thing of basically you eat clean 6 days a week and then you have a day that's a cheat day, or like if you have a meal like a pizza, or you have something greasy that's not there for purely looks, aesthetics, like performance, whatever, it's a cheat meal. And that's a really bad mindset to have. Like, you should not have that mindset, but that's the culture I grew up in. And I think during those pivotal years as well, when I was basically coming out of a phase of essentially starving myself to be as skinny as possible as a teenager, to then going into this thing of, okay, well, I'm going to eat really well Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, then I'm going to have a day where I don't. Or like, there was a bodybuilder that worked at the gym I went to who he would do 5 weeks of strict dieting, everything nailed into a T, like proper bodybuilder diet. And then he would have one day where he went to Tesco's and spent like 70, 80 quid just purely on junk food. And he'd eat so much that he'd make himself feel so unwell. And then he'd repeat the cycle. And that was deemed as like normal and like a good way to deal with things back then, which is crazy because it is so not. And I then started to get an interest in nutrition when I hired my first nutrition coach when I was like 19, I want to say. And that definitely helped. And I realized that although this nutrition coach didn't really focus on what I was eating, which is why I'm very passionate about when I work with people on their nutrition, we do talk about these things, because I want to see that you're not just eating what you deem as good food, then feeling restricted, and then needing to binge, which is a cycle that so many people go through. But basically, I realized that actually tracking my food allowed me to fit in things that I wouldn't have eaten otherwise, because I was trying to be good. And it was just basically this, you can see the pattern basically, right? And over the years, I've absolutely gotten way better than that. I no longer really allow myself to feel guilty when I have a meal, or I allow myself to have things that I enjoy. But for me, my taste palette is still, even though I'm a good cook, like I'm good at cooking foods that fit into my macros really well. I'm good at cooking foods that make my body feel good and fueled and great. And I enjoy those foods. Like, I genuinely enjoy the foods that I prep. I wouldn't eat them if I didn't. Like, I have to eat things that I enjoy. I'm still going to pick a pizza over that. I'm still going to pick a donut over that. Like, it's that sort of thing. So to answer the question, like, I do personally struggle to maintain my weight if I'm not tracking my food. And I do think that that is an unhealthy way to be. But I am at my healthiest when I'm tracking my food, because I'm actually nourishing my body. And I noticed literally so the first week of tracking my food after my like December absolute slip downhill, I felt so much better. Even within 2 or 3 days, to be honest, like I felt way more energetic. I found getting up in the morning so much easier. I was sleeping better. My skin was better. Like, my hair wasn't getting quite as greasy. I felt more confident in myself. Even though my weight and my body hadn't changed, I was less inflamed. I felt more comfortable in my skin. And it really reminded me of why it's important to fuel myself. And this is probably quite a weird thing for me to sit and say, because I think people will be watching this and be like, but you're a nutrition coach. Like, what are you talking about? You need to practice what you preach. And I do, but I also need to show that I am a human. And so where in this comment, this person has said about how, they see female bodies in the powerlifting community and they're like envious, and it's hard to kind of reckon with because you want to look like them, but you don't, and you don't feel like you do. There's a few parts of this to probably unpack. One being, these people might just naturally carry less body fat, which a lot of them do. A lot of women get into powerlifting because they're very skinny, they're very naturally skinny, they're naturally thin, and they really want to just gain some size. So for them, they're going to have to eat a hell of a lot in order to gain that size. and most of what they've gained through their years of powerlifting is going to be muscle. But also, most of these people you're seeing have probably been in this sport for such a long time. Like, I would say I've been going to the gym since I was 16 years old, and I've been lifting heavy since I was 17. So that's a decade of lifting heavy. Even though I didn't start powerlifting specifically for like another year or two, I've been lifting heavy since I was 17 years old. So 10 years now. And I would say it's only been the last couple of years that I look like I lift. And I still have a decent amount of body fat. Like, I'm aware of that. But like my arms and everything, my legs have always been pretty lean. So my legs have always looked muscular and like I lift ever since I like pretty much started, to be honest. I already had muscle from my previous sports background, but like my upper body didn't look like I lift, I would say, until the last couple of years, which I've been lifting this whole time. So I guess my point here is like how long someone has been in the sport is going to obviously change their body and how consistently they've been training and how hard they push their training and stuff like that. And if you give yourself, like, I know this person that's left this comment, and I'm like, if you give yourself more time, you will start to notice these things in yourself as well, and you will notice like the muscle growth and everything. But also, if you're looking at people at a higher level, they are going to be more dialed in with their nutrition year round. And being dialed in with your nutrition obviously is a massive thing. And I will also say the last few years, I've been way more dialed in than ever with my nutrition. And that's where I've noticed the most changes in my physique. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. And that's probably a common sense thing to a point. But equally, until you do it, you might think you're fueling yourself well and stuff, but you're possibly not. Having said all that as well, you can fuel yourself well and still eat things that you enjoy. So like this person that's left this comment, I know does, like, I think she does quite a lot of baking and stuff. Like, you can still bake stuff and enjoy trying what you've made and fuel your training really well and fuel your recovery really well. Like, there is balance to be found within that. And you've also asked about potentially hiring a nutrition coach. I think either hire a nutrition coach, although to be fair, this person, I will send you a PDF I made for my nutrition clients, which actually, to be honest, kind of anyone watching this, I've made a nutrition PDF that I send out to all new clients, just powerlifting, all nutrition. If you would like a copy, either leave a comment or drop me a DM on Instagram and I will get you a copy, because that might be enough, basically, is what I want to say. But hire a nutrition coach to teach you, even if it's just for like a 3 to 6 month period, like as a nutrition coach, and I know most other nutrition coaches that I know personally say this, our goal is to teach you what you need to know to be able to do it alone. Like, I want to educate the people I work with to feel like they can take control of their nutrition, to feel like they don't need me anymore because they know enough about how to fuel their performance, how to fuel their recovery, how to feel their best and fuel and nourish their body while also living their life and maintaining some kind of balance. That's my goal as a nutrition coach. And some people need to stay long term for the accountability. I am clearly one of these people right now. But a lot of people just have a few months of just learning what they need to do, because we're not, like, there's a lot of content around about nutrition and stuff for athletes and bodybuilders and stuff. But to be honest, you have to go and find it if you want to learn it. And a lot of the advice that you see as well, like my course, for example, was all around endurance athletes, which some of it is transferable, but a lot of it you have to kind of learn yourself / through speaking to other people and finding your own research on it. So I think working with a nutrition coach might be beneficial. And it's something that I would say, if you have the income to be able to justify it, then even if you just do it for 3 months, because I think a lot of nutrition coaches have a 3-month minimum, do it for 3 months and just see how you get on, because you might just learn to fuel your training better, and then from there you'll get better results anyway. And in terms of if you are a vegan, should you hire a vegan specialist? I don't think that's necessary, but I think it's necessary to hire someone that's maybe got a bit more experience with that or has worked with vegans before. Like, so I don't tell my clients what to eat specifically, but what I will get them to do is I will get them to send me food diaries. Like, when we first start working together, I like to see what their normal nutrition looks like, what their meals look like, what their plates look like. I can then offer a vegan suggestions about how to adjust things for more optimal fueling, right? Same as I would with someone that eats meat or whatever your dietary preferences are, like a pescatarian, whatever. So I don't think you necessarily need to work with a vegan specialist, but I just guess someone with the experience to be able to help you as a vegan is probably important. So if you find a vegan specialist within your budget, then why not go for it? But I don't think it's fully necessary. I think that probably answers most points to this, but I thought this was a really good question to kind of break down and speak about, because also I thought I want to be as honest as I can in these videos, and I'm an open book. I don't keep anything a secret. Like, literally anything you can ask me and I'll probably answer you within reason. Like, don't be weird. But I thought talking about my own struggles with maintaining body weight and my nutrition history and stuff was probably quite an important thing to kind of be open about here, because it does get better. And for anyone that's going through those sorts of habits right now, like it can get better and it will get better. And I think one thing that I'm very conscious to do is when I am, like, even now when I'm in a very large deficit and stuff, I'm making a conscious note of how good I feel in myself from day to day compared to how I felt in December. Like my mood is so much better. Like my quality of life is so much better because I'm actually fueling myself properly. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking and get my secondary bench done. It shouldn't take me too long, and then I've got to go do my accessories. I am tired. I would like to get this done in good time, but as soon as I get home, I'm just going to have a quick, well, I've only got some fruit and a protein shake left to have, so that's miserable. And then I'm going to get myself to bed in good time tonight.
Really been going back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Like the neighborhood warriors. I don't miss, I don't play none, I don't diss, I don't say none. I go swish, that's an A1. I steak with no A1. Tell the chef, I said thanks. Tell I'm in the bank. Tell my mom I'm living good. Tell my kids don't stress a thing. I go back to back on the drops, drop a lot, and she pack the bags. She shot till we drop. I just wake up, I don't say nothing. I'm on go, I don't stay long. I've been up now, that's a case one. I've been down too.